Ladies and gentlemen, this is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opatz. Today we're going to go over the early Sunday game of the Chargers and the Chiefs. I said going in, I thought this was going to be a shootout, and a shootout it was. It was a high-scoring, back-and-forth affair that wouldn't be decided until the very end of this game, when we had a couple opportunities for both teams to steal the victory. Before we get into that, however, I'm going to go over the rundown for the day. We are going to do the biggest possessions, the key turning points. We're then going to shift to individual players, what that production from them looked like and what it's going to mean, and projecting that for fantasy next week. But without any further ado, let's get into this Relentless Rundown. Kansas City with the huge Arrowhead advantage. They were loud all day long. The Chargers would start with the ball and go 3 and out. And when Kansas City got it, they were ready. They had 5 first downs on their first 8 plays of the game, and then trouble struck. Mahomes scrambling and throws a little bit behind his intended receiver, who happened to be wide open. The pass ends up being intercepted at the 3. Asante Samuel makes an absolutely awesome play. However, I have to say, and this was something that wasn't pointed out or said anything about in the commentary as the game was going on, but he picks this off, guys, and he just kind of lays there. He had a full 5 seconds to get up and try to advance the ball because they were at their own goal line when he did pick it. So a little bit of a missed opportunity for the Chargers to get a little bit better field position, but the pick is still huge. LA is unable to do anything after the interception, and poor special teams, which would be a theme for them all day, comes into play here with a really poor punt, and it gives Kansas City the ball back at the 50-yard line. Tyreek Hill would make a catch over the middle, but then fumble the ball in the red zone, being the second turnover now for the Chiefs. The Chargers would capitalize after the turnover. Justin Herbert, who looked great almost the entire day, really spreading it around, orchestrates a methodical drive, and it is capped off by a 6-yard touchdown pass to Keenan Allen. The extra point, however, is no good, and it's 6-0 Chargers, 13:57 to go in the second quarter. Kansas City, who has looked great offensively besides the turnovers, is able to once again move the ball down the field on this Chargers defense. It ends, though, the same way the other 2 possessions did thus far, and that is with a turnover. Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbles it. It was not a great play by him, once again, just trying to do too much instead of protecting the ball, and the Chargers get it back again. LA would again capitalize on the turnover. Mike Williams makes one of his many big catches on this drive, and it is finished off by Austin Eckler on a nice little 16-yard screen catch and run. He showed great speed and burst on a dive to the pylon to make it 14-0 Chargers after they get the 2-point conversion to who else but Mike Williams. There's now 7:36 to play in the first half. KC shows their first struggles on offense as they go 3 and out after a Joey Bosa sack. Now it really gets interesting starting here. The Chargers, after they get the ball back, are able to move it to the KC 49-yard line, and it's 4th down and 4. Chargers OC Joe Lombardi shows his aggressive hand early, and they go for it. They get a 35-yard completion to Keenan Allen, but wait. The same penalties that they were really struggling with last week show up again. It's an illegal formation, and they are forced to punt. They would have had the ball inside the red zone for Kansas City, so this penalty takes points off of the board. It also ends up giving the Chiefs an opportunity to get some of their own points before halftime. And 3 catches and 50-plus yards later from Travis Kelce, they get a 40-yard field goal from Butker, and it is 14-3 LA. Kansas City would get the ball to start the second half and do exactly what they needed to do. A 12-play, 75-yard drive capped off by a 3-yard touchdown catch by a little-known tight end, Jody Fortson, and it is now 14-10 LA, we really start to feel the momentum swing here as the Chargers go 3 and out, and Kansas City, once again, this hot offense gets an opportunity to possibly take the lead. They have 20 yards from Kelce, once again making a big play on 3rd down and 10. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has a 15-yard touchdown on a screen pass, and Hill and CEH were both heavily involved in this possession, and it's now 17-14 Kansas City. They've scored 17 straight unanswered points to make it that score with 3:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. And for the first time in this game, the LA Chargers offense is really feeling a little bit of pressure to put some points on the board. Now they face a critical 4th down and 4 on this drive from Kansas City's 28-yard line. So they can certainly sit back and kick this field goal to tie it up. But once again, Joe Lombardi, showing his aggressive nature, decides to take the plunge and go for it. And I really love the aggressiveness here, guys, to decide to go for it, because he knows on the other side of the field, he's got a Chiefs offense that has looked dominant, and really the only thing slowing them down so far has been themselves and those turnovers. He knows field goals are not going to cut it. You need to get it into the end zone for 6, and so he decides that he's going to put it in the arm of his young quarterback and allow him to do that. He puts it through to Keenan Allen, a critical conversion on that 4th and 4 for 10 yards, and this would lead to a 19-yard touchdown pass to Mike Williams. It's the 3rd straight week where Williams has got in the end zone, and they regain the lead 21-17, now 13-39 to go in the game. Kansas City's offense, which is now rolling, responds with another methodical long drive capped off by an 8-yard touchdown flip pass to Mecole Hardman. Kansas City regains control of the lead, 24-21, with just 6:45 to play in this game. Another critical possession here for the Chargers, and they go to Mike Williams over the top for 42 yards, and then to Austin Eckler, 3 straight plays, and he picks up over 20 on those touches. Now, Keenan Allen is actually open for a touchdown to cap off this drive. However, there's a defensive pass interference stopping him from getting it. And then the Chargers now have 1st and goal from inside the 5. The Chargers get creative and are able to roll Herbert out, where he hits his fullback for a 3-yard touchdown pass. However, another illegal formation / illegal shift play by the Chargers, their 2nd one in this game, they struggled with it last week, negates that touchdown, and they end up having to settle for a field goal again. When you are a team like LA who is facing an elite Kansas City squad, these type of penalties, these type of mistakes just cannot happen. It really hindered what the Chargers were trying to do for most of this day, and it could have greatly cost them here. They do get the points, and it's all knotted up at 24 apiece. Just over 2 minutes to go in this one. On the ensuing possession, it's Kansas City with a 3rd and 8, and Mahomes tries to make a little magic happen. He rolls out and looks deep downfield for Travis Kelce. Now, he makes a pretty poor decision here, guys, and he slings it over the top of Kelce. This ball is picked off by the Chargers, and they get the ball at their own 39-yard line. This is the 2nd time in as many weeks where Patrick Mahomes has made a questionable decision in a critical situation in the 2nd half. And I just don't understand why he decides to really air this one out. Kelce had 3 defenders around him. Now, I know there are times when Mahomes does this and he breaks free, or he makes an amazing throw that is just so on the money that the guy can't catch it. But you just cannot put yourself and your team in that situation, especially considering the lack of ability of the Chiefs defense to slow down the Chargers offense. But he does it, and he puts the Chargers in excellent position. Just when we think this game can't get any more wild and crazy, boy, does it ever. The Chargers are facing a 4th down and 4 from Kansas City's 30-yard line, so they have the opportunity to try a 47-yard field goal to take the lead with 48 seconds to go in the game. Now, instead of electing to take that field goal, they line up to try to go for it on 4th down and 4. I don't hate the call because obviously when you miss an extra point, you have a little bit less faith in your kicker. However, it is a false start, a critical error once again by the Chargers, moves the ball back, and it's now 4th down and 9. I absolutely thought at this point the Chargers were going to punt it away and try to play for overtime. However, Joe Lombardi don't care. He goes for it on 4th down and 9. They try to hit a wide receiver towards the sticks, and there's a pass interference on Keenan Allen. So instead, they get the 1st down, and I'll be completely honest, I think it was fair for Chiefs fans to question if it was defensive pass interference. There was certainly some contact, but maybe not an egregious amount. They do give the call, and the Chargers the 1st down. Now here's where I think the Chargers could have maybe been a little bit smarter about what they did after getting that 1st down. I think the reasons they didn't, because they had clearly not a lot of faith in their kicker, but they went and continued to go to the air. It was back-to-back plays to Mike Williams, who had a 17-yard catch, and then what ended up being a game-winning touchdown, 5 yards over the top. And just to make matters worse for special teams for LA in this game, they missed the extra point again, making it 30-24 Chargers with just 32 seconds left. Now, 32 seconds may not seem like a lot of time. Patrick Mahomes had a timeout as well, so I would have liked to see them maybe run the ball, knock down some of the time off of that clock. They do, however, give it to Mahomes, and he tries a bomb over the top to Tyreek Hill, and it was actually in the breadbasket and really close to being a completion 50 yards down the field. The Hail Mary at the end of the game falls short of the end zone, and the Chargers get out of Arrowhead Stadium with a dub. If you are enjoying this content, if you are new to the channel or maybe just haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate your support. Let's get into the full game recap and my thoughts on it. And honestly, guys, I would say the Chargers didn't really win this game. It was more about the Kansas City Chiefs losing it. We talked about the turnovers. The Chiefs had 1 in each of their first 3 possessions and 4 overall, and they weren't able to force any of their own. And we know that that is a recipe for disaster in the NFL. The Chargers very fortunate to come out with a win. They had critical penalties once again in the game's most important moments that almost and probably should have cost them. I think about the 2 illegal formations or illegal shifts that took points off the board. These mistakes just have to be ironed out if the Chargers are going to be a team that makes a playoff push. You look at special teams and the mistakes they had there, 2 missed extra points, a shanked punt that gave Kansas City great field position. These are not things that winning teams do. I absolutely love the aggressiveness by offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, knowing the team he was playing against, the situation, that there were going to be a bunch of points scored, and that they had to keep up with the high-flying Kansas City offense. I think that LA's defense looked great in being able to slow down Mahomes just enough. They did pressure him and make him look uncomfortable all day, which certainly led to the mistakes. I think if you're a Chargers fan, you have to love what you saw from the young rookie after he had a so-so start to the season. He looked awesome. Mahomes didn't look bad, but we talked about the inconsistencies in his decision-making, and the bad plays is specifically those interceptions that he made in this game ended up costing the Chiefs. Now, this is 2 straight weeks, guys, where Patrick Mahomes has made a critical error late in the second half that has ended up costing his team the game. My final thought would be, what is his mind space going into next week's matchup with Philly? It's obviously a big win for the Chargers, and they have to feel good now with a win in their pocket against Kansas City and a 2-1 record that they now have a little bit of a hold on that top spot in the AFC West. Of course, they're trailing the Denver Broncos, who have played nobody. The teams so far that they faced are 0-9, and I think that ultimately it's going to come down to Kansas City and LA for the top spot in that division. Now, Raiders fans, don't get too hard on me too quickly here. I didn't forget about you. I think the game against the Dolphins just worries me a little bit if I'm talking about the Raiders, because Miami had no real place being in that game. They didn't have their starting quarterback. They were struggling with injuries, and to have to go to overtime to beat a team like that makes me put you a notch below. Now, they'll certainly have opportunities to win some games and prove me wrong. If anyone has any questions for me, or maybe just any thoughts on this game, please comment those down below, and let's get into the recap for players. Now, we're going to start with the Chiefs. They get the Eagles on the road in week 4, and we're going to start with Patrick Mahomes. He looked good, not great, against this LA Chargers defense. His decision making has to be better. He finished 27 out of 44 for 260 yards. He did have those 3 touchdown passes, which you love, but those 2 picks, which you hate. I think that the Eagles defense is a good matchup. It is one of the better passing defenses in the NFL, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do against one of those upper echelon passing defenses. But I think Mahomes is going to have a little bit of a revenge game coming off of 2 straight losses, which you could put squarely on his shoulders. Don't even think about benching him. He's in for you next week. We're now going to move to the running game, and that's all about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who finally, thank you, showed us what we wanted to see as fantasy owners. 17 carries, 100 yards, nearly 6 yards a carry. That was incredible from him. Now, I'll say for me in the eye test, he still was okay. He looked good, not great, but you love to see the production, and it gives us hope moving forward. There's obviously high upside in this offense. He's going to be a RB2 against Philly next week. He's just got to slow down the fumbles before he loses his job. Damian Williams had 9 total touches for 39 yards. I don't even really think he's worth a stash right now. Tyreek Hill for the Kansas City Chiefs. We were hoping he rebounded after a lackluster game last week, and he was just fine. It probably wasn't what you guys were hoping for as owners. He had opportunities, including a missed 50-yard bomb late in that game that was almost caught. That would have really made his production look a lot better, but he was still okay, not spectacular. He caught 5 balls for 56 yards. He added an 11-yard run on an end around, so he still got you 67 yards of total offense, and he is maybe sliding back a little bit in the rankings, but he's still a solid wide receiver 1 next week. Travis Kelce, the clear overall tight end 1, did it again. He had 11 targets, which you absolutely love to see. He turned that into 7 receptions for 104 yards. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. There aren't any really other wide receivers that we need to talk about for Kansas City. I think that Mecole Hardman could still be a stash, but I'm certainly not playing him right now, and no one else did anything of note. Now, with Josh, aka Flash Gordon, reportedly signing with this Chiefs team, I think that jumbles that wide receiver 2 through 5 situation even more, but I still think that both Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are completely safe in their target shares. If you're new to the channel, or if you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. Now let's go look at the Chargers side of things. They get the Raiders in week 4, and we'll start with the gunslinger Justin Herbert, who outdueled Patrick Mahomes in this one. He finished with 281 yards passing, 4 touchdown passes, and completed 26 out of 38. He was collected in the pocket and really showed good awareness and was able to buy time when it was necessary. He had a lot of tight window throws, and he got some help from his wideouts. Certainly, I love him against the Raiders next week. He is a high-end QB1. We move to Austin Eckler, who didn't have the full-on exploding volcano game that we were hoping for, but he was still awesome in this one. He had 11 carries, which was just fine, to the tune of 55 yards, so an awesome 5 yards a carry, and then once again, he was busy in the passing game. He caught all 6 of his targets for 52 yards and that awesome 16-yard tutty. He is once again a high-end RB1 against the Raiders. Now we move to the pass catchers, and it starts with Mike Williams, who is playing on another level right now, guys. This is his 3rd straight game with a touchdown catch. He had 9 targets, 7 catches, 122 yards, and 2 touchdowns, as well as a 2-point conversion. He was physical and a little bit surprisingly showed great hands as well. Moving forward, he is a rock-solid wide receiver 2, clearly with some big upside. We move on to Keenan Allen, who had some great catches on the day. He was utilized in the game's most critical situations, and he left this game with a 34% target share. Holy Moses. He had 8 catches for just 50 yards, so it doesn't look great coming off of that target share, but he did get a touchdown, and he is still a wide receiver 1 with no worries. It obviously doesn't show up in the box score, but Jared Cook had a really good game for LA. Now, he only had 3 targets and just 2 catches for 27 yards. I still like him as a back end tight end 1 because of the upside in this high-scoring Chargers offense. And that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. Please drop any comments you have down below. This is Relentless Press. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.